Oh,
Spill something?
it's like, yeah, it's probably from the soda. Doggone it. Hold on.
You spilled the soda?
What's up? It's the Soundguys. We're live from, yet another traveling experience here as we go along. We're cooped up in quarantine in our comfort suites. Just joking. This is our deposition setup. This is what we use for depots. So hire us. Cheap depositions. Here they come. No, what are we doing here in neighborhood, Nick? Or do you even know?
I don't quite know what we're doing. We're filming a podcast right now.
God,
and yours...
The table is still sticky. I can't believe it. Whatever. Well, anyways, as you guys can tell, we're doing a little one camera, shoot. We are actually working. Can you believe that?
It's a rare moment. It's a very rare moment when this happens.
No, seriously. We're working on actually a video gig. So that's it's a live kind of production thing. No big deal, but that's okay. We get some work to do. And we're doing it for a couple days, so we've got the hotel rooms. Nick and I are not staying together. We want to clarify that for our viewers at home. Exactly. Nick has this is actually a pretty poorly made suite. I think what happened was they came up with the idea that we're in right now for this to be a laundry room, and then this wall to my right, they were like, you know what? If we blow out this laundry room area and put a door back there, we can call this a suite. And so the floor plan works. I'm not going to pick up the camera and show you because it's a podcast, so why would you? Yeah. So
just listen and believe us.
There's there's a bathroom behind me, and then if you go down this hallway to my back right, then the bedroom, the master bedroom, is on the left. And then there's another door which goes into an adjacent hotel room, which is where Mr. Nick is staying, and he has his own little bathroom.
Yep.
And he also has his own little sitting room where he can put on his corset and all of his things that it takes him forever
keep
to
everything to stay where it needs to stay.
If you compare our two body types, I'm like the freaking Michelin Man, and you got this guy over here losing weight like it's going out of style. But I digress.
I wish.
And then he has two queens, though. That's kind of weird. Not playing poker, but two queens, not a full, whatever. Or even a king. So I don't know. I think next time, thank you so much to Choice Hotels for sponsoring this, even though you didn't. But
we'll give you a free shout out anyway.
I think next time, you want to maybe just not do that and advise us that, you know what, maybe just do a regular suite, not a laundry room suite. Fair enough?
I think so.
But, dude, so the hookup to the front door guy, I told him I said I needed more coffee. Dude,
and he gave you more coffee.
If you can't see, you can hear. That is like 5 more coffee packs than you normally get.
Which is good because you go through coffee, you drink like 5 cups a day.
And let's be frank, when I'm done, I'm done. I like to get in the room. I don't want to get dressed and go back down for the coffee hour. I don't want to be social. As much as you guys may think that I'm very friendly, I'm not.
He's the more extrovert of the two of us.
Absolutely. I'd rather just be done. Just be done. So much so that how much money did we spend on Uber Eats?
About $100.
Try more. Remember,
$120.
It was $120 for the Popeyes. But let me tell you something. Okay, now Uber Eats, stupid sticky table. I love. Oh goodness. Here's the deal. I love Uber Eats. You can see my body. I'm just bulging out, just like. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. The point. I love Uber Eats. I love the fact that we can get whatever we need, wherever we need it, in select markets. Clearly, but when I make a big order, I would really like to have everything that would come with the order if I was standing in line just like you did for 20 minutes. With the new, what was the prop that you voted for? What was that stupid prop you voted for where the Uber drivers, everyone gets now fair wages? What was that?
Oh, I think that was like Prop 22 here in California.
Sure, so here it is now.
To keep everyone as an independent contractor.
So now
where they wouldn't have to go through the,
That's not how it worked.
Actual W-2s and all that fun stuff.
No, that's not how it worked because now I'm paying taxes on that.
Yeah.
Now I'm paying more taxes on that because would I dearly love to have my Uber Eats, now I have to pay a $4 tax for just the food, and then another tax. Like it. Excuse me. It's as you can tell, I have indigestion. It makes me so upset, and I love paying people. Don't get me wrong. I'm broke as heck, but
It's true. That's very true.
That's true.
I am the receiver of most of his money
Nick
these
gets
days.
all the money. Yeah, go fig. But the point is that no sauce was included with our Popeyes. We ordered Popeyes.
It's true.
We went ape wild on the Popeyes. Oh my gosh.
To be fair,
Ugh,
Popeyes,
goodness.
you're doing a good job.
you're killing it.
You're doing great.
Popeyes.
I
you're
don't
killing
care
it.
who says it. The chicken sandwich at Popeyes, I actually prefer it. Hear me out. This is going to cause controversy right here.
I know.
I think their chicken sandwich at Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A. I said it. Not taking it back. I prefer the Popeyes chicken sandwich over.
Bomb dropped.
Chick-fil-A.
Mind blown. And honestly, the client we're working for, apparently some of their people got sick from Chick-fil-A.
You know, and here's the
What
thing.
was that about? Like apparently food poisoning? What's going on there?
I don't think it was actually food
Oh,
poisoning.
you think it's just heroin?
It could be. I think
Meth?
maybe not meth.
Sling? Smack?
All the cool drugs
Pocky.
out these days now.
Pocky? EDM? Reefers?
Reefers. Who says reefers anymore?
I don't know. It's, Gob? PCP?
That's a dangerous one
Is that
right
a good
there.
one?
Yeah.
411?
But back to topic here. I don't think they actually got food poisoning from Chick-fil-A.
Green Trees Some Gum?
I am not familiar with that one.
Well, I'm working on it, man. I don't know.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Chick-fil-A, I will say, Chick-fil-A's, I like their breakfast.
Yeah?
I do like Chick-fil-A's breakfast. I think their customer service is the best in fast food. I love how they will get you the refill. I like that, actually. I don't know if they're still doing that with COVID. I haven't been to Chick-fil-A in a long time.
Well, then how do you know their sandwiches are better than Popeyes? Or not as good as Popeyes? You just defeated the whole argument.
No, I've had Chick-fil-A before with the chicken sandwiches.
How long ago?
When did we do the... Well, during the election, actually. When I was in Denver.
Oh,
That was the last time I had Chick-fil-A.
that's fair. Okay, all right. Well, then it hasn't been quite some time. It's been, a month, 2 months.
Yeah, but I didn't go inside. I just went through the
Feels like that
drive-thru.
stupid election just keeps on going on and on, right?
It does.
Dude,
It
we're not
does.
going to talk about that, though. Jiminy Christmas.
Not this time.
Nope.
When
Popeyes.
things get really serious, though.
Then we'll talk serious. But
Yeah.
Popeyes. Will we? We're Soundguys. We're Soundguys.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about
Popeyes.
that.
Anyways.
But I do have some This is actually a really interesting story I just found.
Wait, about Popeyes? Or
No,
chicken?
not about Popeyes. Completely different.
Oh, okay.
It's from Japan.
Oh, do tell. Japan. Hey, how do you know Nick's a political science major? Because he's going to tell you. Nick, why don't you go ahead and tell us that story? From Japan.
Actually has nothing to do with politics.
Well, then slap me silly and call me a two-gourd.
There's some science involved, but not political science.
Science?
Japan, ladies and gentlemen, is developing wooden satellites. Hold up. To cut down on space junk and to protect the environment.
How does a wooden... Well, I guess actually a wooden satellite would
Because
work.
the wooden satellite, when it falls out of the sky, unlike the current satellites, which are made out of metals and, I don't know, all the aluminums and whatever blah, blah, blah stuff that I don't know anything about because I did political science, not actual science. The wooden ones, actually, when they fall out of the sky and come back to Earth, they'll just disintegrate and burn,
Exactly.
and they won't release harmful particles into the atmosphere and the air, which could have a detrimental effect in the future. We don't know right now if they actually do, but could have a detrimental effect in the future for things such as global warming and air quality and whether or not we're breathing in metal all the time, things like that. So this is actually this is kind of fascinating.
That's actually a really uplifting thing.
I know. So this is something that's currently in development. They're working on it. The engineers are currently trying to find ways to, strengthen the wood so that it could survive the launch and everything.
Yeah.
But this could be massive. This could be massive. And they hope to have the first wooden satellites up in space by 2023, just 2 years from now.
Nick, what does Elon Musk have anything to do with this?
Elon Musk actually loves his metal satellites.
Oh,
He has nothing to do with this, actually.
really? Why does he like metal?
Well,
Because he's SpaceX, so I would have figured like he would have wanted
well,
to
SpaceX,
jump on this.
they've already launched 900 satellites.
Yeah, of course they have.
They're expecting to deploy thousands more, so that's going to be crazy. Let's see. Yeah, there's not much about Elon Musk. It doesn't look like he actually has any say in this experiment. This is actually a Japanese university that's taking this on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, you know what? I guess, like we say, it's informative, it's enlightening, and it's entertaining.
Yeah, good job, Kyoto University.
Kyoto, give them a shout out.
You guys are going to actually try to change the world.
And
unlike
Kyoto,
Greta Thunberg.
if you would like to have us come speak at your commencement, you can have the Soundguys.
We'll fly there.
We'll fly there, and
No
we
problem.
deliver amazing results when it comes to commencement speeches.
It's true. It's
Nick
true.
over here, he likes to give the more optimistic commencement address, and I myself, I like to provide the more lighthearted commencement address. You know, like kind of like Daniel Tosh shared with everybody. He said
really?
the real
Yeah.
heart of it. When I look over these students, these graduates today, I see future felons, and I think that's good. It's like, and people boo and they awe, and like you said, here's the deal. No one changed their life, at the commencement address. They're going to be like, oh, what, I can do anything with my life? Okay, it's a lot better than what I was planning.
Hopefully by then they already figured out they could actually do something.
Well, you would think. But speaking of doing
Unless
something...
you have a gender studies degree, I'm sorry.
Yeah, gender
You guys
studies.
aren't really going to do a whole lot right now.
Sorry. But
You know the most popular question asked after you get a philosophy degree?
What's that?
Would you like fries with that?
Ooh, that's a good one. Ba-dum-cha. I like that, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so speaking about all the gender studies and, where everyone ends up in the job market, that leads me back to this freaking Uber thing. I'm all for supporting your Uber Eats and all of your other jazz like that because, everyone, for me, and again, if you haven't told, I like the gig lifestyle, and I know this is kind of weird for some people. I like to be able to have the variety in life. If you guys didn't know, I've actually worked some pretty high-end jobs. I've done some very high-end things. I have a very good dossier, a curriculum vitae. I'm dialed, but I prefer this because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
That's true,
and that makes it fun. I don't need to be watching YouTube videos, but the whole thing about
If
this,
it's really YouTube.
it's Habu Pixel. I don't know. Habu, the game Habu.
I don't know what that is.
It was like I must have clicked on it accidentally. I don't know. But the point, we ordered all of this food. Okay?
Yep.
Ordered all of it.
Did. And it was good.
It was very good. But
We're still
I
eating it, actually.
specifically asked for some items that really make the food go that next level. And these are things that I'm sure all of you can relate with. If you do any type of fast food or even actually any type of, dining in, which is impossible nowadays, but any of that jazz. Condiments, big deal, right? Ranch, ketchup, barbecue sauce. Sauce is what makes the rest of the food sing. And I was really looking forward to that. And I'm not going to name her name. She was a sweet gal, super coordinated and communicated very well. Say, hey, look, there's a there's a long line. Food's going to be late. No problem. Name to go unmentioned. We'll see you soon. She knocked at the door. We grabbed our food. We devoured, dug in, and there was no sauce.
It's true.
No sauce.
Very true. Sadness.
So I had to then hop back on freaking Uber Eats to then find someone else to go to a supermarket and find me some sauce. Now, the unfortunate thing about all that is that obviously you're paying a premium for this, and you're paying people to do it, and people's time, it's absolutely worth it. People's time is worth money. But I shouldn't have had to pay for my sauce. I should have just been able to have it. I should have been able to buy extra sauce in the menu. And Uber, if you're listening, that should be a thing. You should have the option in your app to be able to say, hey man, I want to purchase 10 ranches, or I want to purchase 20 barbecue sauce cups. Bring it on. Let's do it. But no. So now the sound guys are sitting in this laundry room suite convert at the Comfort Suites.
Yep.
Oh, we never even told. We're working in Amarillo, Texas. How cool is that?
Amarillo, Texas.
Is that nice? It's not too bad. Actually, believe it or not, it's snowing. So that tells you where the world is going, right? It's snowing in Amarillo, Texas. Go
Here,
for
I
it.
thought we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, is that what you told them?
I didn't say anything.
Well, the good news is you
I
didn't.
haven't told anyone where I'm at. With all these masks and everything, no one needs to know my identity.
That's super
No one
true.
needs to know where I'm at.
Well, I really hope that you told someone because, I mean, if you die, I mean, how would I be able to validate without this,
Just take my body back.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Well, that got morbid really quickly. But the point is, Uber, here's the beef. Just do your job, please, and make a little bit of, excellent those things because that'd be kind of fun. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Oh, I got a notification. Looks like actually, speaking of, Nick, go back and talk about your satellite stuff. I think our sauce is here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, so like I was saying, Japan making some incredible satellites made out of wood. And absolutely fascinating. Really quite intriguing stuff. I have a feeling it's still in research, so we have no idea exactly what's going to be going on. We don't know what type of wood. We don't know how it's actually going to work properly together. Well, looky there. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are just hearing this pounding sound, that is 3 different sauces. That is ketchup, barbecue, and a Louisiana hot sauce, because we never assigned you a name. What's your name? What's your name this time?
Oh, my name?
Yes.
I am Crispin Smith.
Crispin Smith?
Yes.
Crispin, Mr. Crispin here, he likes his
Yes.
spiciness.
Oh, man.
He loves his
I'm looking
spiciness.
forward to this. So fat.
So,
Looks like the crafting is open, kind of. That's not
just
safe.
use your thumb.
Huh? Knife.
Oh. Yes, just destroy the wrapping. But anyway, ladies and
As
gentlemen.
you were.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's promising. This looks very promising. It looks like it's actually going to have a fairly good result. And if it is successful, which I hope Kyoto University, I hope you guys do an incredible job rooting for you
Commencement
guys.
speech. Invite us.
Yes, have us over. We will gladly speak to anyone.
And we will bring hot sauce from our native country.
Yes, yes, we shall. So, I was actually just kind of looking up some news stories, and this one just randomly popped up. COVID tracing
Uh-oh.
in Singapore.
Uh-oh.
So this is interesting. I actually like the Singaporean stuff sometimes. For example, did you know it's illegal to chew gum in Singapore?
I did. You told me that.
I did. Did you know it's the death penalty?
Love that.
There's death penalties
Love that.
for keeping things, you got to keep everything clean, no drugs. It's wonderful. And it
I love
works.
that.
It works amazingly. Singapore is an absolutely beautiful city.
There it is.
Well, they
They're
have,
scared to death.
as people should be. So, maybe San Francisco, you should learn something from Singapore.
Ooh, hear
Your
that?
disgusting city.
Learn something.
I'm sorry, San Francisco, but you guys have the most disgusting subway system.
You didn't leave your heart there.
No, my heart is not in San
I
Francisco.
made a joke.
But
Oh, yeah.
it is disgusting. You guys need to learn how to clean up the city and maybe take some lessons from Singapore. I'm not saying kill people.
Well, then what are you saying?
I'm not saying kill people. But maybe actually have consequences for people's actions instead of just letting people do whatever they want freely and willy.
Oh, neighborhood Nick. No, we don't do that. Come on now.
As they should. So, anyway, Singapore, they have what's called tag tracing. This is actually really high tech. So, every person has this little trace together token thing, and it works with an app, and Bluetooth signals are exchanged with other tags or app users nearby.
I'm familiar with this.
and the interactions are kept for 25 days, then automatically deleted. And if a user tests positive for COVID-19, the tag must be handed to authorities for contact tracing, which then will give them information to everyone within contact in the last 25 days, which is really high tech, really cool stuff right there. But here's the thing. When this was promised, they said it was only going to be for COVID. Turns out that wasn't necessarily true.
Uh-oh.
It turns out, I think this is actually pretty smart. And just so everyone knows, I'm reading this from a BBC News article right here. Officials had previously, I'm straight from the article, officials had previously explicitly ruled out that data would be used for anything other than the virus tracking. But Parliament was told on Monday it could also be used for the purpose of criminal investigation.
Of course.
Close to 80% of residents are signed up to the Trace Together program,
Of course.
which is used to check in to locations. The voluntary take-up increased after it was announced it would soon be needed to access anything from the supermarket to your place of work. The Trace Together program, which uses either a smartphone app or a Bluetooth token, also monitors who you have been in contact with. Blah, 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 blah. La, 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 la. Anyway. They said the data will never be accessed unless the user tests positive for COVID-19 and is contacted by the contact tracing team. But Home Affairs Minister Desmond Tan told Parliament on Monday that it can in fact also be used for, quote, the purpose of criminal investigation, adding that otherwise Trace Together data is to be used only for contact tracing. So,
Bum, bum, bum.
Singapore is laying out the law on everything.
Well,
I like it.
what?
I do. I think that if you're going to go all out into this contact tracing and go all out on laws like Singapore has, just go all the way. Just do everything you can. It won't work in America, but we're a very different country.
Well, hold on then. Why is it okay then for Singapore?
I'm going to take some of these real quick.
Yeah. Why is it okay for Singapore?
Why is it okay for Singapore?
By the way, if Singapore was Popeye's chicken,
I think they do.
they don't.
How do you know? Did you look it up?
I know everything. Let me see. Does Singapore have Popeye's chicken? No. They don't. Popeyes in Singapore is not Popeyes in America. Popeyes in Singapore serves substitute chickens, and their recipes are altered to fit the Singapore palate. Singaporean palate. That's a Google. It's on Tendio. They need to be heated up, I think.
I think you got my mild ones also.
Did I? That's lame.
You should get the other ones.
Oh,
Try them out.
you upset?
No.
Are you upset that I took your mild ones?
No.
Here's the deal.
I just think you would prefer those ones. I think they might taste better.
Well, like you say, you may prefer Dos Equis. I prefer schnapps. Is that how it goes?
I don't know. I don't drink.
No, the ad, man. I prefer Dos Equis, but you prefer schnapps, or how does it go? I don't always prefer beer. Oh, I don't always drink, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. That's how it is.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
That's the one. No, I think
Okay, but no. Back to your actual question here.
it's concerning.
It is concerning.
But the thing is, I don't.
But Singapore has already sold out to be a massive, not really a police state,
Okay.
but their people have already signed up on all these laws. They've voted this in. They've passed it.
So your argument is, if you're going to go big or go home, basically. So I guess, because you're right, it wouldn't fly here in America, but we haven't let our freedoms. Is that the right word? We haven't given it enough concession as of yet to allow that.
But it's also a combination of the will of the people, because they're the ones that vote in these people. And so that's one thing. So if America ends up going down this route, based off of popular votes and crap like that. That's one thing. But they have overwhelming majorities. It's not usually a close election as far as I'm aware.
What? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was, this was a laundry room. Dryer went right there. That's a 220 outlet. And then that little boarded up crap right there, that's where the dryer vent was. The dryer vent went out right out there. And that's a 20 amp dedicated to the blade coming over.
Yep.
So that would have been the washer if they just did a single washer dryer setup. They probably had vending, or they had it all the way down the pipe because you could have done vending on there. And then, of course, you would have already had water.
Yeah.
Because you want to do like your cleaning on it. Sorry. Singapore, go ahead. But I'm still confused as to what that was, unless they had it combined. That's a really weird setup because normally you have laundry and vending not combined. You have two separate. I don't think I've seen laundry and vending in the same room. Normally it's either or. You know what I'm saying? Because there's another 220 looks like down there.
Maybe it was washer.
Yeah, washers aren't 220.
I don't know what they are.
They're 110.
Oh.
Well, that's that. Like so. I don't know. This place perplexes me, but it's okay. It's where we are. We're considering it home for the next 5 days as we work here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Now this is going back. Are we in Tulsa or Amarillo?
Today we're in Tulsa.
Okay, we're back in Tulsa. So this is the interesting part, though. The people of Singapore are pissed off about this.
Oh, why?
They're pissed off about this because they were specifically told this was only for COVID.
But what made them think that they would? Come on, they think they can trust their government?
See, only Americans don't trust the government.
Oh!
I've learned this from all my international friends because this is the most popular question I have been asked in other countries. Why do Americans hate the government? And for the longest time, I always was just like, I thought everyone hated the government. No. Turns out that's an explicitly American thing to not trust the government.
No, because if you look in the UK, they love the NHS.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's like there's actually like features in opening games supporting the NHS.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But all around the world, it's like, oh, you guys, how come you don't trust your government? Don't you think your government's out to do the best? And every American I'll take that back. Almost every American I've met has even a slight distrust where they're like, no, not really. No, the government's out to get us. And I think that's just a common American theme, especially as of late, ever since 9/11, really.
Wouldn't that be crazy if they were putting something in the Popeyes
To track everyone?
No, made us more subservient. Can you imagine? Big conspiracy where all the Popeyes is so good, everybody eats it, and each little strip of chicken includes the vaccine, includes mind-controlling chemicals, and just kind of makes you slowly more subservient. And that and Kraft Foods, they make the most disgusting barbecue sauce ever, but it's the most easily accessible. So, give it to Kraft Foods for being on every shelf in America. Thanks for that. Yeah, I don't trust the government, but I mean, like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing, like, I hate to say it, but even like law enforcement, we work with law enforcement quite extensively. Mm-hmm. But the engagement changes when you're pulled over, or even if you walking down the street and you see an officer. The engagement changes, and I have to be quite frank with them sometimes. Like, the line of questioning really leads one to think that you're just looking for probable cause. You're looking for PC. Mm-hmm. And so I just lately I've just listen, I'm not really discussing my day, and I just said, listen, let's stop for a second. I understand maybe where this is going. I work with law enforcement and military a lot, so let's just cut to the chase. Do you have any PC? Like, what is the exchange? Are we just having a good common conversation, or are you truly trying to set up something here? Because if you are, let's just talk about it, so I can either be on my way, be detained, grab a lawyer. Like, I don't have time to play this game. So what is it? What are we doing? 9 times out of 10 that usually works. The other time they're like, well, can you step out the car? Well, whatever. All right, well then can I call my attorney?
And I think that's mainly an American thing also, is we don't like authority too much.
Oh, we heard about that in last week's episode.
Yeah.
You hate authority.
I don't like
You hate being told what to do.
I don't like being told what to do.
Nick, eat your chicken.
You eat my chicken, I don't care.
Government says it's good for you. Eat your chicken. Nick, eat your government chicken.
But all around the world, though, it's a very different story. It's a very, very different story in other countries.
What? Is that us?
Hey, it's me. What are you doing?
I don't know. Is there an episode of Soundguys on the TV behind us?
Apparently.
Wow, this show is just full of good little nuggets, isn't it? Heavens to Betsy. Oh, yeah, sorry, Nick, I know.
Been
South
decent.
Korea. That's what you're talking about?
South Korea? Well, South Korea,
No, you're talking about Taiwan.
Singapore.
Singapore, that's right. I knew it was one of those places in Asia, right?
Could talk about all three, actually.
It's in Asia?
Yes.
Asia, they're Asian countries.
Yes.
That's cool.
But they have a much higher respect for government.
Who does?
Most Asian countries. Except maybe the Philippines.
I think the Asian culture in general has a higher standard for everything.
I would say so.
I mean, which blows my mind.
They do make the most money out of everyone. They have the best businesses.
But they have the they have the crappiest products.
I wouldn't say that.
I probably just bleep that and I'll just admit it. And then, yeah, it's a PC show, so we can't PG. It's a PG show. Listen, we're working on the road. We're working our bones off here, man. So sometimes there's going to be some,
From him, not from me.
No, he's as clean as they get. But no, seriously, they make a lot of their products are very lousy.
Like, are you talking about
Chinese-made products, Chinese knockoff products.
Okay, so the imitation products.
Correct.
Imitation products, yeah, they're going to be, most of the time, not as good. But that's also kind of how they grew their economy, was perfecting items and making them better and better and better. Look at Japanese cars.
Well, that would explain a lot, actually. Because what they would do is, like, especially when we were doing jobber pricing and purchasing by the container, a lot of times, after you bought that lot, you could never buy it again.
Yeah.
And so that would explain it. Hey, man, we only made one run of these things, and we learned from our mistakes that, this wasn't so great. Let's try something else. I'd buy that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So basically what it was the quote-unquote Asian tiger countries. They go by different names depending on whichever theory of thought you go with. But Japan, South Korea, China, Taiwan, they were export-led industrialization. So they would make a product, sell it to the world. And they would increasingly, they would perfect the craft, make another product, perfect that craft, move on to the next thing, perfect the craft. That's how you have LG and Samsung.
Yeah.
They perfected, Samsung phones, I prefer Samsung phones over Apple phones.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Samsung makes refrigerators.
Popeye is so good. Here's the beef.
LG makes great TVs. Samsung makes great TVs.
They make great phones. But the thing is, I'm still confused as to the whole benchmarking that we did with Motorola and Samsung. Motorola and
Are you talking about the
reception and the actual speed? I've come to the conclusion, and then maybe I'm wrong on this. We'll have to do some more research one of these other days. But manufacturers specifically hide one very important spec,
which is
the modem.
Oh, yes.
The modem, there's a chipset and a modem put on those phones.
Okay.
And a lot of times, Samsung will outshoot to the lowest bidder. And if you compare, I've had a very hard time finding out the modem specs on, say, an LG ThinQ versus a Samsung Galaxy versus the Apple iPhone. And I have found that the modems are very different. And that is the heart of your speed. Because if you have reception, that's one thing. Reception is a big deal.
Yep.
We get it. But Once you have reception, once you've connected to the tower, you need to get the maximum throughput, both ways. And that is the attribute. That's the attributed. It's attributed to the modem, and that's what my research has concluded thus far. Motorola makes their own modems, as I've seen so far. Motorola, therefore, will equip their phones with their own modems, their own chips, allowing the best throughput. But not all Motorola's use the same antenna software or whatever hardware it is to make reception. So Motorola may be the best throughput, but it may not be the best receiving. So you're kind of screwed either way. You have to get your Motorola in a good receiving area. And once you've done that, now you've got awesome data. And this is only really important to me and the Sound Guys because we're Sound Guys. No, because we also do, like, we have some streaming and video, and we work professionally when we can, when we're not blowing all the money. Well, rephrase that. When I'm blowing all of my money on the chicken strips.
I just mooch off this guy.
This is really funny. If you notice, haven't you noticed the common theme of this show? Who bought the mics? Who buys the camera? Who? Never mind. Anyways, so whatever. So, but that was very. So Motorola has always been a big thing, and a reliable thing for us on streams because we can use. Here it gets technical. We can use a Teradek bonder, and we can actually take 3 or 4 or 5 cell signals, and we can bond them. Nick's got hiccups. He's got hiccups. And so then we can, bond the signal, and away we go. So, I don't know, but that was a side note from the whole Chinese thing. But you're absolutely right. The perfecting of the craft would make great sense. And honestly, we got more to talk about. It would also be about that stupid 500 megahertz thing. I know we're late to the game talking about this because it was a big deal when 600 was outlawed and made illegal, but dude, come on. Comment below how many of you people actually still stuck with your 600 megahertz microphones. I can say there's at least a handful of people out there say, you know what? I'm going to chance it. I'm not going to sell some of my 600 megahertz gear, and I'm going to still use it. So, and I feel like no one's going to get in trouble now because the way, if you just comment and be like, oh yeah, that was me, but I'm no longer using my 600 megahertz stuff, so
Maybe you need to explain this for the non-tech people.
Oh, yeah.
Why was, first off, explain the 600 megahertz microphone and explain why it was outlawed.
Well,
because this is actually a very interesting little story.
It wasn't really outlawed. It was just
reassigned, repurposed.
Yeah, it was lobbied. It was lobbied out. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I really feel like, well, basically there was cellular carriers. Man, how can I explain this briefly? So, everything is assigned some type of radio frequency spectrum. If you think about it, your phones, you've heard RF. Oh, the RF is killing us. And everyone talks about 5G. Well, that's RF. That's a radio frequency. And so it's 5 gigahertz, 5,000 hertz. 2.4 gigahertz is 2,400 hertz. Okay, so and the higher you get up on the frequency spectrum, the faster they move, and the lower you get, the slower they move. So back in the day when you had police cars that used what was called VHF. VHF was 100 hertz. Well, it was 125 hertz to, I want to say 197 hertz. I don't know exactly. I'm sure I could look it up, but I've got a piece of chicken in my left hand and I'm gesturing with my right hand, so I'm not going to take the time to look it up. But it's somewhere around there. If you wish to Google it, just Google a full list called the listing of radio frequency spectrum, something like that, and you'll see all sorts of these things. Oops, I hit my mic. The point is that VHF was very reliable because it was a low power, but it could have a high distance. It could punch through buildings. It could do a lot of really cool things. So we had radio communications using them, and we had television stations using them. And then we had two-way radios, and then we had cell phones, and then we had, you see what I'm saying? There's only so much bandwidth in that spectrum. Now, a lot of the new kids, they think bandwidth is how much you have left coming down the pipe. That's correct to an extent. Bandwidth is how much you have left in terms of your ISP's usage or whatever. In this application, bandwidth is what, how much space you have in that frequency. So let's just do the math easy. If you have 150 hertz to 200 hertz, that means you only have 50 hertz of bandwidth. And so you have to modulate your equipment to broadcast somewhere on that setup. And so if you have a TV station that's broadcasting on 151 hertz or megahertz, and you have a wireless radio that's transmitting on 151.2 megahertz, and you have a wireless microphone that's transmitting on 100.3 megahertz, there may be some cross problems. There may be some interference. Thus, the need to start expanding where we did radio frequencies. FCC came in. FCC then said, okay, well, we're going to make a mandate so we can tell you which frequencies are going to be reserved for what. So then we said, okay, the VHF is VHF, and then they went a little higher up. There's the private band for the ham radio operators, and then the 200 to 300 hertz is like for aircraft and for like garage door openers and home remote things. And then the 300 to 400 is like for more ham operator folks. And then the 400 to like 650, that was wide open for commercial and business use, as it needed to be, because there's a lot of things that go on. If we talk about even point to points, if we're trying to move data from one building to another in a big city, you're going to do that back in the day on something lower. You're going to have because they would do a constant transmission, like you could run into them sometimes. You'd hear like the old school modems. I'm sure no one even knows what that is anymore. But I mean, you'd hear this like, excuse me, it was like a bunch of, it was a bunch of, tones that would be broadcast over a frequency. And then a receiving end would hear those tones and decipher that into data or into whatever information was being transmitted. So then we get to 700 to 900. Some of that was specialty use, but like I know that that was reserved for military. There's law enforcement. And then we got into 1,000, and then now we got 2.4, and then we got up into that. Okay, great. So now we're there. Well, most cell phones worked in the 900 megahertz. It was called CDMA. And there was also TDMA. I forget exactly what CDMA means. Look it up. But it was CDMA, and the way that particular transmission worked, it was constant on, off, back and forth. Listen, cool, listen, cool, listen, cool. 900 megahertz was on the money, but only so many towers could support it. So here's the rub. If you have 100 cellular customers and your tower can only support, say, 50 cellular customers, what's the problem? You have to increase the capacity of the tower, add more towers, or find a way to make the cell phones, or find a frequency that makes the cell phones listen further and connect with other parts of the network. So the problem really became, hey, if we start making phones on a lower frequency, they're going to get, quote, better reception because they're on a lower frequency, but we're not going to have to invest as much money into our infrastructure as opposed to just popping out new phones. So it was a cheap move. It was a cheap move, and it really hit, I feel, it screwed up the smaller entertainment companies because, high-end equipment, Nick knows. Nick had to go to a Guitar Center. He's like, oh my gosh, this stuff's really expensive. Crispin Smith, this stuff is expensive. Like,
a lot of it.
Yeah,
a lot of it is overly priced.
Poor guy didn't know, but yeah, that's how much. And everyone who's in this business knows that's how much this stuff costs. It's just if you want to buy quality, but you have to buy quality. So a wireless rig, anything that's worth its salt, is going to be $1,500 per microphone, for real. So that's a heavy investment because 9 times out of 10, you're not buying one wireless microphone.
You're buying at least 3 or 4.
Well, if you're just doing vocals only, but a lot of times if you're doing a rotating stage, who knows if we'll ever do those again, but a rotating stage, I mean, you're going to have wireless on the guitars, you're going to have wireless on the drums, even if you're changing out sets. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's more practical to think that you're going to have up to 6 or 8 wireless inputs, and then you're going to end up having 4 to 6 wireless in-ears. I mean, so you've got a lot of radio frequency. You tune it all in, and as it's been said before, then after you've spent days tuning in your stage, then some moron from the local radio station comes down and puts his truck right next to the stage. I'm live from and screws up your entire show. Oh well, that's we run and gun. But no, and that's not speaking from experience at all.
Not gonna name names.
What are you doing, KSFM? Well, that's actually, it was KUT. It was KUT. They're sweet. Anyways, so T-Mobile, not to name names, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, so I'm not saying this is fact, so this is my opinion, lobbied for the 600 megahertz range. And they won that lobby. And so then basically, since, Shure and Sennheiser and others could no longer fight that, they're like, well, then fine, we'll drop to the 500 megahertz range. The downside with the 500 megahertz range is that it still modulates. There's other phones that use it. Phones still gap that out because they're not always on 600, at least from what I've seen from an RF finder. And to top it off, there's more interference in the 500 because you have radios, you have other, wireless repeaters. You have so many other things going on in there that just make it bad news. Thus, my disappointment. Because we've bought some 500 megahertz equipment, and it's just
it's a solid feel.
It feels great,
but the signal,
it's no good.
Not there.
600 was where it's at, but you can't use 600 now anyways because you have too much interference from the cell phones. So it's effectively has pushed, and I've looked at it, but it's effectively pushed wireless into the 5G, 2.4G. The down, and again, I think, comment what you guys think on the mic side of this, because for any sound professionals out there,
if you're still there.
Yeah, I know, right? If you're still in business. I really did like, and I'm sure maybe there's a workaround, but I really did like the AA and the 9-volt power. The ability to, and maybe it's not the most environmentally friendly, but I mean, if you did care, or whatever, you could use rechargeable AA's or something to that effect. But it's very comforting to know that if a battery goes out on stage, you can very easily change it. You've got a stockpile of AA's or a stockpile of 9 volts. With the new 2.4 gigahertz microphones and so on, they require more voltage. And so more voltage is something that AA's and 9 volts can't push. So you have to have custom and specialized LiPo batteries, lithium polymer. And lithium polymer batteries, you can't just go to Home Depot and just buy a specific lithium polymer because they're shaped specifically to fit into the cavity of the microphone. So you have to buy extra of those, and we don't know the reliability yet on them. How many charges are they going to take? I mean, how long will they hold? I mean, for us, we get a little gutsy when it comes to the battery cycle. We're like, we got a few bars left, let it roll. I mean, we wouldn't do that on a high-paying gig, so customers call. But there are some times where it's just like, you know what? Let it roll, man. Let's just see how long this mic goes. And
that's what I did today.
Oh, man. And it gets us through the show, and everything's great. But it's a different ballgame to play that way when you're using a battery with an unknown. I mean, I don't know. I guess if we're going to go that way, sure, if you're listening, or Sennheiser, I would then like to see an app that connects to the base station. This is probably a brilliant idea. I'm going to lose money on this.
You will. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. It's all going to have an app that connects to your base station so that then we can monitor battery levels of the microphones from the app.
And know when to get new ones.
Yeah, because honestly, the technology is already there. If you're already having that open channel because there's not just data coming from the microphone, there's also signal, then we need to have real-time information on battery levels and the health of the microphone.
But then again, with COVID and with our rumors that we've been hearing.
Oh, dude, so sad to hear about Zach Theatrical. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that was, for those of you who don't know, that is a major entertainment company over on the West Coast. And lo and behold, we found out that they are no longer with us. They have given up. And it is I would say a crushing blow, honestly, to the entertainment industry. Because as we have seen COVID progress and the lack of jobs and the lack of entertainment in general when it comes to concerts or even small things like movie theaters right now, I honestly think movie theaters are going to be a very luxury kind of item now. Just because there's people who are terrified to go.
I'll read this from their website. Super sad. And I knew Kathy and Mark and all of them down there. Oh, great people. Mark, I called him Mark. His name was Marcus. My name is Marcus. I'm sure if he ever listens to this, I loved you guys. You're awesome. Kathy especially. But anyways, in our 73 years of business, we have never encountered challenges like the ones posted dude, I guess the chicken can't make me read. Like, help me read. Let me start again.
Should I read it for you?
Read it for me, Nick. Here you go, neighborhood. Are your hands clean? Can you touch this laptop?
Yeah, all right.
All right, go for it. Read. I'm going to eat my government chicken.
So, Sacramento theatrical lighting. To our valued customers. In our 73 years of business, we have never encountered challenges like the ones posed by the government, mandated shutdowns. Clear and direct to the point right there. Our heart goes out to all of our clients who have been affected by the closures of schools, theaters, churches, and event venues of all types. You are the lifeblood of the communities you serve, and we hope that the essential, in bold, services you have always provided are restored as soon as possible. Sacramento theatrical lighting has reached a crossroads, and while we are still open, we are consolidating our operations gradually over the next few months. For now, we will continue to manage existing orders and open quotations with no interruption in service to our customers. If you are reaching out to place an order for a rental, purchase of expendables or new equipment, or if you need production services, click the link below to reach our friends at Sacramento Stage Lighting just around the corner from our building at 410 North 10th Street. Thank you for your loyalty to STL, and we wish you the very best.
Sad. Man, good for them for shouting out to. I'm curious if Stage Lighting is going to stay. I mean, maybe they will. I think that's Keith. But
it's very difficult for, especially the groups that we know in entertainment that really only focus on one particular craft.
Right.
Especially if it's like staging, lighting, not necessarily sound is a little bit more versatile, but still, if you're stuck with the big old line array systems and that's your bread and butter and that's all you really do, you ain't using that stuff. I mean, the real, even DJs, they're not going to be having a huge amount of gigs right now. I know that people in our wedding circle, the people who do weddings and wedding stuff, they're not doing so hot right now either.
I love how they left this open, but what's so and I really appreciate that they want to, but
they still have that glimmer of hope.
They have that glimmer of hope, but
even though they're shrinking and consolidating things.
Well, and as you know, I drove by I happened on Richards Boulevard, drove by the warehouse because I'm not there often. Yeah. But it was a couple days ago. I drove by, and it was vacant and for lease. So that pretty much, you know what I mean?
So they could have also gotten rid of the warehouse.
What I'm hoping, I mean, if you look at the Google, I mean, if you hope, right? Sacramento Theatrical Lighting, they're still on Google saying they're open.
All right.
You know, they're currently closed now, but they're going to open tomorrow.
But it's not looking good.
But the address they have posted is not the correct one because the warehouse is now
for lease,
vacant and for lease. I guess I could just call the phone number real quick. Why not?
See what happens.
I'm just curious. Dude, how long? We've been talking for... This has been a long show. Oh, well, those guys are still talking.
Yeah. Hey, it's a dog.
It's ringing. I would have not expected it to ring this night.
Why not?
I mean, the people we work for.
Sacramento Theatrical Lighting. Our normal business hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday Pacific Time. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. If you are experiencing difficulties with your rental equipment, please press 9 now. If you are experiencing a technical emergency, please press 8 now. Otherwise, choose from the following options.
I wonder if they're...
Maybe they're still alive.
I wonder if they're doing the storage unit thing.
Well, this is true. This is true. A lot of our people that we know have been giving up the big warehouses for storage facilities.
Yeah, but see, that's really weird, though. Now I get intrigued. I'm going to have to call them. I'm going to call Kathy. Because why would you put that on your website, like, okay, and be very vague, like, we're not taking any new business. You know what I mean? we're not open. Like the website, they're not open for business. And
It looks like, I thought they said, though, if you're interested, click the link below, so.
yeah, click the link below to go to their competitor, Sacramento Stage Lighting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's
Maybe-
what I'm saying.
Did they get bought out? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a side effect, shall we say, of the current pandemic that we're in. The entertainment industry, as we've been saying in many of our podcasts, is very much struggling. And
Oh, good for them. Maybe they did. Maybe they found a partner. Because a lot of these production stills on their website, but the website's pretty camp. Like you can't click on things. It just says this is what we do. But okay, yeah, these production stills look like Sacramento Theatrical. Okay. Well, it's a very boring website. And it's not designed to be very informative. It just says, hey, here's some stuff we do. But if they have their legacy clients, because remember, dude, Sacramento STL, they literally ran downtown Sacramento.
it's true.
It was the Memorial. They had the Convention Center. They did Cal Expo.
Yep.
I mean, well, we all did Cal Expo. I mean, it was such a big thing. But the point is, I mean, they were the electricians. I mean, like, dude, they really did a lot. A lot of the schools. Well, good for them. Maybe they just maybe it's.
Maybe people are joining together to try
Yeah.
to survive a little bit.
Well, that's just like what Sound Bros want to do with us.
That's
I
true.
mean, we have a good friend, competitor, partner, Mark Eilson over there at Sound Bros, and same thing. He lost his shop, and so his warehouse is now storage units, and that's kind of how everyone's doing it. And he was like, "Hey man, let's do gigs for free. Let's do driving." Like I'm like, man, I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm not ready to,
No.
unless the job is press worthy enough. And I hate to say it, but that's kind of what it is. There's social currency involved.
Yeah.
If we're gonna, we're on
It's a
another
different podcast.
different podcast. So we have literally officially talked as long as we should. But the point is, actually, that's a great thing. We can use the podcast
As a timer.
on our TV. Man, see how technical we get. Anyways, I hit my mic again, and I don't have a monitor in my ear, so I can't hear when I'm hitting it. But at least I know I got But the moral of the story is that I wouldn't want to do a gig unless like it's press worthy.
Yeah.
Like if it was like a big drive-in,
It's really difficult right now, especially, I mean,
yeah.
Texas is a little bit more lenient. Oklahoma, a bit more lenient. California,
Forget it.
there's half the stuff that we're trying to even do right now would be deemed illegal.
Oh yeah. Oh no, there's like
That's why we're playing for the future, but the future's dark and gloomy and scary.
So dark, so gloomy, so
And
scary.
we're not talking about COVID. We're just talking about the industry in general.
And yeah, dude, there's not much left. But hey, dude, that's the reason why we at least know how to use a video camera. All right.
And this is probably something we should start with on our next podcast.
Okay.
But the industry, everything's moving to video now.
Absolutely.
I mean, that old song,
Odd Lane sang, "Let old acquaintance be forgotten." Is that the song?
no, that's not the one I was talking about. I was thinking about,
How about "Them Dimes Got Eyes"? Them dimes got eyes. No.
no. I think it was,
Oh, how about this one? Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? Remember that one? How's
I
about
do remember
cooking?
that one, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Oh, my favorite. Mr. Ritter Luctor, tell about him do. Said, I was like, I know of a doctor. Tell about him do. Sad to say, he fell into a deep, deep, deep old well. Oh, that's so sad. Well, not at all. I'll speak in such a tone. Well, he should have attended to the sick and left the well alone. Ha ha! That's a joke. That was told on the minstrel days we missed. No? Bing Crosby, White Christmas?
I'm familiar with the songs, but not the ones I'm talking about. No.
Oh, this one? Having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. No?
No.
Okay, what song are you talking about, man? I've given you some really good options. Jeez.
I think it was,
Oh my gosh.
it's like, the chorus is like "Video Killed the Radio Star" or something.
Okay, yeah, that was the Stalin and
That's the
Stalin.
deep fake one. Yeah.
I sent that to you. Okay,
But
so
no,
for
I
our
think-
folks out there, pull over right now. Go ahead and Google Hitler and Stalin saying video killed the radio star.
Deep fake. It will scar you for life. It's hilarious in
it's
a
so-
very creepy way.
I love how Stalin just goes, he's so happy.
Hitler looks.
Hitler looks grooving, but, Stalin was on the money.
Yeah. But no, I think that video's killing everything right now. And especially with all the regulations, that's the only option.
Yeah, that, and also, did you see the, what was it? Discover Channel, they're like doubling down. I mean, they're late to the table, but I think they're going to do okay. Doubling down on a live video app because they're going to start creating more content. And and he said it really well. I like the way the CEO, he was on CNBC. He said, our content is complementary. Our content is not competitive. It's complementary. And that's actually very true because I can't think of anything that they're doing that's like groundbreaking. I'm not trying to knock you down, Discovery, because remember, they got HGTV, they got AE.
Back when Mythbusters,
That's about it.
that was the big Discovery
But they
thing.
haven't done anything since.
That's true.
Okay, we don't know, but when my wife and I were traveling, the first thing we do when we're traveling safely for work with our masks on, when we're traveling safely, of course we are. Shut your mouth. The first thing we do is we get into the hotel room and we turn on Property Brothers because it's always on. It's great background noise, and we love those two guys. They're so cute and manly, and look at them go. They're building things and tearing out walls and making a more open floor plan. That's the hotel over the wall. You guys can hear that on the podcast. Whatever. There's a hotel next door, and they just love to fire off that horn.
It's a car alarm.
It happens every night. I honestly think someone does it just to see if they can wear their battery out. I don't know. Anyways, you wasted another perfectly good hour.
Yeah, I guess we'll come
with
back
the
next
Sound
time.
Guys, coming at you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we'll see you in another week from the same location because we're gonna probably record another one here.
We'll be here
just
for a
for you.
while. We'll be here for a while.
Here's our outro music. Bye. Oh wait, aren't you supposed to say something?
There's a few things, yeah.
Oh yeah, Nick. Yeah,
The stupid cells type
neighborhood
stuff.
Nick. While he sells, I'm gonna go fix a cup of coffee.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the Sound Guys podcast. I am the wonderful, reliable, amazing neighborhood Nick. Joining me today was the Crispin Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are listening to this on any podcast network, blah, 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 be sure to rate us, review us, leave a comment if you can, subscribe, always get those downloads and everything. We really appreciate it. Help us with the algorithms on YouTube. Hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Oh, and be sure to try to find out on Patreon and check that out. That's also really nice and beneficial. And without a doubt, you can always find our website, soundguyspodcast.com. Is it .com?
No, it's thesoundguyspodcast.com.
That's what I just said.
Did you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Thesoundguyspodcast.com.
I didn't even open the ketchup.
We have fries. We can do that still.
Man, I'm full.
It was good, though.
Stuffed.
All right, hit it. Let's get out of here.
Bye, guys.